Welcome to NomadMedia, Automotive Tales, where we tell vehicle stories, a little bit of history, and some unique and personal experiences. Let's get right into it. So welcome back. Today we have Alton Freeman with his 1970 Plymouth Fury 3. And Alton, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Like, it's not every day I get to come into the Wellborn Muscle Car Museum to do an interview, but I greatly appreciate it. How about you tell us about this beautiful Plymouth Fury here? Because I don't think many people's heard about this one when it comes to...
This one is sort of a little bit special. This car right here sat down there in that building down there for 7 or 8 years, and nobody wanted the old car. Tim got the car because it was in a package. He didn't really want the car. It just, the guy told him that he had to take them all, so Tim got this one too. So he just put it down there in the building and left it. I think Philip Love came before I came. He drove the car down in there. So the car set, but the building leaked. Nobody knew the building was leaking, and it leaked on the car. So the car had about 2 to 3 inches of water in it, sitting out for 7 years. The water did. The top had rusted out on it.
Yeah, and with a drop top, you probably had some issues there with the water.
The water ran into the motor. Nobody knowed it. So Tim told me Wayne was going to put a new top on his building. So Wayne told Tim he needed to get the car out because he didn't want nothing falling on it when they did the top. So I took a trailer down there, hooked to it, and took it to another warehouse we got, and it sat over there. So it just sat over there. So I had to go over there pretty regular and pick up a car, get a car out of the building or whatever. So one day I had to work over there for about a half a day. So I sat around and I thought, I got to look into this car and I said, man, that thing is so ugly. Why cross the build a big old ugly car like that right there? Nobody wanted it. So matter of fact, it rocked on. I went over there again. So I kept looking at the car and I said, man, this thing is so ugly, it looked good to me. So I came back and I told Tim, I said, hey, you got a car I want to buy. I always told Tim Webb I never own a Chrysler product because I'm a General Motors guy. So I told him I never own a Chrysler product because it cry for the crank. You know, that's how me and him go at one another. You know, and that old crying go, yeah. And then I got this bottle of gas. I dropped 2 drops of gas in there and I said, it doesn't cry, boss man, it's ready to go. So he'll crank it up then. He said, hey, you go with that General Motors crap. So, but anyway, it rocked on. So first day I said something to him, he just walked off from me, looked at it and walked off from me, wouldn't even talk to me. So next day I said, hey, what about the car that I want? He said, what car? And I said, oh, big Fury. I said, it's so ugly, it looked good to me. He said, you want to buy that car? I said, yes, sir. He said, I told you one day I'd reel you in to be a Mopar guy. So I said, okay. I said, what you want for it? And he said, Alton, I tell you what, since you want to become a Chrysler guy, I'm going to let you have the car for what I give for it. I said, yes, sir, sounds like a deal. So he told me how much that he give for it. He walked about maybe 10, 15 steps, and he turned around and told me, said, no, Alton, I believe I'll give a little bit more than that for it. I said, hey, boss man, I don't want to become a Chrysler guy that bad. You can't keep going up on me. So finally, he said, well, I really don't know what I give for it, Alton. I said, I tell you what, since you don't know and I don't know, I said, the first figure you give me, we're going to cut it half in 2, and that's what I'm going to give you. So that's what it was. So anyway, he said, well, it's a running car, Alton. So I goes and get me a battery. Then I goes over there. I put the battery in there, jump in there, and bought me a car for $750. I'm thinking, man, I done good.
I was about to say, you bought it for $750 off of Tim Wellborn?
Yeah, $750, man. So I goes over there and I put a battery in there, hit the start, it tick, tick, tick. I thought, man, I got a bad battery. So I run back down here and got me another battery, run over there and put another battery in there. It went tick, tick. I thought, man, what's going on? I said, starter might be locked up. So you know you can take a hammer and bump a starter, and you know sometimes they free it up. So I took a hammer, hit the starter, jumped in there and still tick, tick. I thought, man, what's going on? So we got paused down here. So I ran back down here and got me a starter, went over there and put a starter on there. Man, I'm ready to hit this big Fury run. So I put the starter on there and got in there, and all it did was tick, tick. I thought, man, what's going on with this thing? So I came back down here and went to the parts store, got me some mystery oil, a plug wrench, and a flywheel wrench. And I was going to go and take all the plugs out of it and put some mystery oil in there and just, you know, try to break it loose because it might have been seized up. Yeah. So the first plug I took out, rust, water, everything run out of the cylinder. So every one I took out, everything just run out of cylinder. So I come back down and I told him, I said, hey, I said, boss man, me and you got a problem. He said, what the problem, Alton? I said, that motor is locked up. He said, well, Alton, what I sold it to you for, you can fix it. So I said, fix it? So I said, oh no. I said, you supposed to sold me a running car. But in 1969 and 1970, Tim Webber bought a 440 and it was in a crate, had never been started up, and it was in a corner back there. So I went back there and I was looking at that motor, and I come back and I said, hey, I said, you supposed to sold me a running car. And I said, that motor in that corner back there, I'm gonna put it in that car. And he said, oh no, Alton, so you can't do that right there. I said, the motor worth more than the car. I said, well, that'll make the car worth more. So I put the 440 in there. It comes from the factory with a 383, but now I got a 440 in there. So then I drove the car around for about 2-3 weeks, and then the transmission went out in it. I thought, man, he just done sold me a lemon. But upstairs, there was a brand new transmission in a crate. So I came and got the transmission. I didn't tell him then about the transmission, so I just got the transmission and put it in there, and I drove it around.
This isn't going to be his first time hearing about it, is it?
No, I done told him about it. And so, so I drove it around for a while, and then I drove it, I had exhaust put on there, and I had the guy to put the new top on. And so I drove it down there to the pole barn, and he was sitting right back, and I come up in that car, and he said, dang, Alton, said, the old car looked good. So I hate to be an engine giver, but I want it back. I said, no, you can take that out of your mouth. You ain't getting it back. So now every time that he around somebody, he telling me and him is part owners in this car. We probably is part owners, because about all the parts came out of the museum.
Yeah.
But anyway, I took the old car and drove it around for a while. I had no intentions of doing anything with the car. I just liked it and was just gonna mess with it for a little bit. It had rusty holes in it and all that stuff right there. So I was just made my mind up. I was just gonna sand it and clear coat it with all the rust in there, make me a rusto-mod out of it.
Yeah.
Then I decided, well, I put it at the house and I was messing with it. So I found the old door and a fender and it had curves in it. So I thought, man, if I could cut that out. So I took and cut pieces out and I laid them down on that piece and I would cut them out and then I would weld them in. So I thought, man, I done went this far, so I'm gonna just throw a little paint on there just to keep it from rusting. So I primed it, throw some paint on there.
I was gonna say, you went a long way from patina right
here.
Yeah.
So I went a little bit farther. So then I put new carpet in it. And now I got new interior coming for it. So, but anyway, I just throw the paint job. This is one of my paint jobs on there. I ain't the greatest, and you know, I'm just an old part-time painter. But anyway, I throw this little paint job on there. But really and truly now, I'm really proud of it. To me, it's standing up just as good as the rest of them.
Man, this thing's sitting in here too with all these other cars that I know are probably, you know, one-of-ones or like super special or like survivors or anything like that. It doesn't seem like it's out of place at all. Like,
no, it's all to me now. I just put this car in here one side that I closed up, and I just want to put it in here and take me a few photographs of it.
You come back, it's got stickers and everything all over because Tim done got a hold of
it. Messing with it, and so I thought, man, I'm gonna put me a few stickers on there and take a few of this. So I went and got one sticker off of one car, one sticker off another car, got that little antenna thing off another car. So I sort of borrowed one piece from every car. So I set it in here, and then I thought, man, the old thing look pretty good. I said, I'm just gonna leave it in here till Monday and get it out Monday. So I took some pictures of it, and I sent Tim some pictures. And I said, he never did respond back, so I called him. I said, hey, did you get my pictures? He said, Alton, what pictures? I said, them pictures I sent you. I said, he said, what pictures? He said, I look at it. I said, no, you gotta look at them while I'm in you on the phone. So he looked at the picture, he said, hey, Alton, old car fit in right there. I said, yeah. He said, don't take it out. I said, just leave it in there for a while. It fits that spot. It's perfect for that spot. So I think it done found a home. He just don't know it.
I will say, I hope you don't leave it in here permanently. Like, I mean, no offense to Tim, but I'm like, I want to see this driving around, man. Like, I want to see you riding around in it, doing stuff with it, which is what
I plan on it, to get it out and ride around in a little bit. But right now, I just want to put it in here for a little while. Once we rotate, I take it out and drive it around a little bit. Might put it back in here during the winter because I don't want to mess with it during the winter. But I want to do a little bit more to it now. I'm going to tear it back apart. I'm going to chrome the bumpers and polish all of the chrome. Got new interior coming. So now I want to pull the motor out of there and do detail all under the hood. So probably I just disassemble the car, and probably next time the car come back into the museum, it'll be standing as tall as the rest of them in here.
Man, I already think it's standing as tall of them, but I'm also the guy that likes those, I like the 20-footers and the drivers and the stuff like that, because what gets me is like, it runs and drives and you're going to drive it, right? But like, it looks amazing to me. So I'm not
to me, a car needs to be drove. That's like the cars in the museum. Every car in this museum cranks up and run. Once a week, I get one out, go drive it, and clean it up and put it back in here. These cars need to run because of these cars set. So much stuff go wrong with them. So if you can keep these cars running, you're gonna have less problem with them.
I've had conversation with people before, like, so you know my car. You know, I have the 70 Charger.
Yep.
And it's in the same color too. So
Yes,
I'm really loving this color here. But and I have questions on your color too, because I want to know what sent you that way. But let me say this first. Like, you know, I almost daily drive my car. Like, for most people, you would consider what I drive that Charger as much as I do as a daily driver. And people say, how do you do that? Like, because my old car won't run. If the person owns an old car, it's like, it don't run like that. It wants to be temperamental, you know, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But I tell them, I'm like, look, man, when you drive it as much as I do, you tend to know what's wrong with it.
Correct.
And also, my engine keeps getting turned over. Like, I'm not letting gas sit in the carburetor. I'm not letting gas sit in the head or the block or anything like that. And I'm not having any issue with gas because I'm putting in new gas all the time.
Correct.
And when your engine runs, and what I mean by turned over, you know, the oil is getting circulated,
Correct.
all the seals are getting lubricated. It's
and
like,
stay soft.
Yeah, it keeps everything in a newer condition. Even if you let a modern car sit,
it's gonna go down.
You're gonna have those issues with gas and dried out seals and things like that, and people just don't understand that.
They don't understand. They think this they buy one and they put it up. That's like you see a lot of people's. We go to the auction and you see a lot of people pay $100,000, $500,000 for a car, and they take that car home and they put it up, and it's never been drove or never been seen. Then when they decide that they want to get rid of it, they have so much issue with it, trying to get it to run to take back to sell it.
I like to make a joke with people at some of these car shows when they trailer in, which I know you trailer a lot, but I'm not really talking about you guys because y'all take care of everything in here to make it pristine. But I see these people that trailer to shows, and you know, they get a little irked at me sometimes when I say, like, you know, I'm like, oh, you trailered in so it doesn't run or drive. He's like, no, I drove it off the trailer. I'm like, okay, well, there's a gas station about 5 miles up the road. If you come back today, I'll be impressed.
Yeah, they call them trailer queens.
Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. You know, they like to crank it up every now and then. Oh, engine turns over, it runs. Nope, that's not what
we haul them because of we go so far.
Safety,
and so, you know, most of these cars, you said, we go a long way. Say we go, said, 10 to 12 hours. And the kicker to it is, one of the reasons that we do this, we have to spend the night. So the kicker to it is, in that trailer, I can secure that car better than I can with it sitting out. Because and number one thing is that the cars is not mine, so I have to make sure that I put tight security on them.
Yeah, I'm not bashing, you know, people who have something like you going on, because I'm well aware that, hey, not everybody's situation is the same. You know, if you're traveling, you know, not necessarily this one you said 12 hours might be this actually, but like if you're traveling over 1,000 miles away to go to an event or something, like if we went to Carlisle, you know, or something like that, in all honesty, it's like, I would love to see your car drive it there. Like, I know mine would because I'm just that guy, but it's my car.
Yep.
And it's like, but in all honesty, I think it is more reasonable to trailer it just because of, like you said, securing it at places. But then there's also the idea, if you're taking a show car that has something special, where if it's a Survivor or something like that, you don't want a rock to come up and chip that paint
there's
or
no
something.
replacement.
Yeah, you can't replace original factory paint. You know,
cars on the original. I tell everybody, cars on the original one time. You can restore one 100 times, but you can never bring that car back to being original because of it's just one time.
And that's just using the Survivor example. But like, even if it's a full restoration, full blown rotisserie, you know, $100,000 restoration, it's like you scratch that paint, you're gonna be pretty mad about it. And I'm on a road trip where you're probably doing mostly highway, you know, so it's like tends not to be worth that to most people, you know. But I do want to ask you here, what convinced you on the green paint? So you mentioned that you were like, oh, I'm just gonna clear coat and patina it.
The kicker to it was First, I was gonna change the color on the old car. And then I thought, the car been green all its life, and that's an F8 green. So what I did was, I launched something, and it depends on the type paint you take that car right there, that's F8 green. You take this F8 green. Them cars are two different colors. And two different colors, you hear me say two different colors. The reason they're two different colors is you take a PPG and you take a Sherman-Williams. A Sherman-Williams gonna show a lot of the pearl and the metallic, while PPG is subtle. It's a whole lot subtler. And that's the reason this car right here got a lot of pearl and metallic in it, because it's a Sherman-Williams. It's a lot of people think. So when you buy a car, somebody done redone, you need to know what type paint they use, because if you have to blend on it or something, you get into some serious trouble. Because the one type paint it might be the same number, but it's two different colors.
Yeah. So you kept it green because it was green then. It didn't have anything to do with Tim, because I know a little tidbit
Tim is a green man, but it didn't have nothing to do with Tim. I didn't have to change the in the trunk, under the hood, and all this stuff right here, because it's already green. Once you change the color, you have to just about disassemble a car. And I wanted to go as quick and as cheap as I could. Matter of fact, I painted this car. I did all the body work and painted this car in 2 weeks.
Ooh, that's a good turnaround right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. I supposed to have been working at the museum, but
well, don't get yourself in trouble here now. Don't admit guilt.
I supposed to have been working at the museum, but I spent more time down there in that building working on this car. Tim said, "What you gonna do today, Alton?" I said, "I'll let you know a little later on in the day."
After it's already done.
So I spent one whole week working on this car. Whole week, that's what I done. So the next week, that Sunday morning, I got up and I said, well, it ain't ready to paint, but I'm gonna go and paint it anyway. So I went down there and taped it up and painted it.
Man, I can just tell you love it too.
I do, man. I enjoy it. I tell everybody that I enjoy what I do, and if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, because it's something you enjoy. You look forward to going to it every day.
Yeah, you do, and that's a true statement right there.
Yeah, it is. And it's amazing, and it's funny how I came up on this job right here. I don't call it a job, I call it a venture. But it's amazing, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. The thing is too, is always want to give thanks to Tim Webbin and Pam Webbin for giving me the opportunity to be here sitting in this seat today, and give me an opportunity to afford this car, because of, he thought enough to me after the car wouldn't run to give it to me. So I want to appreciate him and thank him for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, and Tim, keeping all these cars, good to go and things. If there's not someone like him to take his place in the future, the bare minimum you will, and it's
Yes.
But it's good that he likes to take care of these old cars so people still get to see him. But
yes, sir. It's amazing, that he went on board and did the museum, because of, what he did was he brought the cars back so people, not only him enjoying, but he got the cars here for other people to enjoy that's really into cars. So, he could have did whatever he wanted to do, but he chose to put something back to the public.
Share it with the public. Well, man, I know we're in the museum here, but I think you mentioned to me we might get to hear this car crank up.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll see if we make a little smoke in here today.
Let's get a little bit of sound going on
yes,
here
sir.
then.
We'll see what we can do.
All right. So there you have it, Alton Freeman and his 1970 Plymouth Fury 3 and how he came about it. Man, it's amazing what Tim Wellborn can do down here with his cars, and I'm glad that he gave you the opportunity to have a car of your own and just roll with it, and then he's putting it in the museum and everything too. I'm sure you feel ecstatic about that, to get to show it off and things.
Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir.
Is there anything that you would like to say to anyone that may be watching out there?
Yeah, I tell everybody, if I never would have dreamed that I would be a Mopar guy, but if you be around the Mopar world, it'll rub off on you. Next thing you know, you one of them. So just bear with it. You can't beat old Chrysler product. They hanging in there.
And you know what? There's another thing for Tim Wellborn right there. It's like he done pulled you into in the Mopar world. You know, he took you out of that GM.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna watch this and be like, no, like get him a Camaro.
Yeah.
Well, man, thanks for talking to me. I want to shake
sir.
your hand. You know,
Yes,
I
sir.
greatly appreciate it. But with that, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
I'll see you at the next car show, okay?
I want to thank everybody, but if you out and you ain't got anything to do, come to 124 Broad Street, Alexander City, Alabama, to the Weber Muscle Car Museum. We'll be looking forward to seeing you there.
Man, thanks for having me again. You know, I greatly appreciate you talking to me and bringing me into this awesome museum to do the interview. But with that, be sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.